So it begins, or as Ned Stark said in a great Game of Thrones scene. No, Ned Stark didn't say it. Ned Stark said, "So it begins," and then Sir Arthur Dayne said, "No, now it ends." This is turn 11, so it's the penultimate turn, but uh, this turn might make or break whether the Warsaw Pact captures this final objective down here or not. They have a pretty beleaguered group of defenders trying to hold off the East German infantry. The some dedicated defenders over here have really smashed the hell out of the armored formations that the Warsaw Pact sent. And this little group of Americans here, I think that they should realize at this point that they need to mount up and get back over here somewhere because, yeah, that's where the action is, right? So we have a disrupted and reduced platoon of M60 Patton tanks, and we have a reduced good order unit of our platoon of Abrams main battle tanks, and they both have headquarters with them. The Before this turn ends, both the almost completely eliminated American mobile defenders from the 8th Infantry Division will activate, and the A-10 will make another attack run. So that is good. But what's really true, I think, about this situation is it has a lot to do with which cards get pulled for activation in which order, right? If this formation gets pulled, they can almost certainly completely eliminate this threat here from the East Germans, right, without probably too much trouble or luck. But if the East German infantry gets drawn first and they're able to successfully rally these troops here, then they just have to get this American unit to take a shot at somebody, and then boom, they've got this objective. And then will this tank here be enough to get it back, or can the Americans race over here like mad fellows and try to stem the tide, right? And as I've said before, that is a part of this game that I just love, is you could play this turn out 30 times and something different would happen every time. And I like that. And I, never been in the military, so I don't know this as a fact, but I believe that that represents what is a central aspect of combat, is that you got a lot of plans about what you're going to do, but what you're actually able to do is often very, very different, and you need to be able to figure out how to use what you're able to do to get done what you need to have done. All right, so let's see how this goes to start. And the Soviet helicopters activate first. That is bad news for the Americans. So as we had previously, we have a helicopter unit right here. We can zoom in just a little bit. This fellow's out of missiles, but it's still got the cannons. It's it's automatic cannon. I think a 30 millimeter on the hind, right? And then this unit has continued to manage to conserve missiles. I wonder if in some cases these there should be an ammo limit on these things. I don't really know how many they actually flew out with. But let's see what's going to happen here. So the first thing that the Soviets will do is use this unit here to try to shut down this good order unit here. And so it's an effective range shot, so 4 dice needing 4s to hit. The unit is hold on, wife and kids need something. All right, so I was saying this unit here is not concealed. I think when I discussed concealment previously, I failed to mention 2 elements of being concealed. One is that if you are within 6 hexes of a recon unit, you are not concealed. That is not the case with this recon unit, right? There were more than 6Xs from this unit, indeed. But you also, if you're adjacent to an enemy unit, you're not concealed. So there's no concealment here. So here comes 4 dice, needing 4s to hit, and not a single hit. That was fantastically good news for the Americans. Let's see if they can reload. They fail. So, also good news for the Americans. Now, does this helicopter want to try to finish off this unit or try to come over here and deal with this? I think they're going to finish off this unit if they can. So they're going to use their cannons, and they're going to roll 4 dice, needing 4s. You see again, they're out of anti-tank guided missiles. And so I guess the loaders gave them all to the other guy. So 4 dice, needing 4s. And this unit is, in fact, concealed. It's more than 6Xs away. So that's going to get a +1 defensive bonus. So let's see what the 4 dice do. Only a single hit. Wow. The Russians were hoping for more. So we're going to get 3 dice, needing 5s for the tank, and then the city is going to give another, and the concealment is going to give another. So 5 dice, needing 5s, needing a single 5 to stay alive, and they stay alive. So there you have it again, right? Thinking like, oh, well, now we got it, and then, man, we suck. That can't be true, can it? That I drew this again? Wow. Holy moly. 2 activations in a row. All right, so let's do the reload roll here. And it does manage to reload. That is amazing. All right, so we're going to do exactly the same thing that we just did. They're not out. They're not reloading. So 4 dice, needing 4 at the Abrams. And again, goodness gracious, I love this game. And now here we go, 4 dice, needing 4s from the helicopter, from the 30mm cannon. And again, only a single hit. 5 dice, needing 5s to save. That was remarkable. 2 activations in a row by these lethal attack helicopters that the Soviets flew all over the place in Afghanistan, and they can't put a dent in the Americans. Now, what comes next? The U.S. reinforcements. Here we go. Now, I need to theoretically consult the solo assistant. So, if they are within point-blank range of enemy, which they are, they're supposed to make a low-risk move. If they're in effective range, they're supposed to fire at the closest vehicle or move. And so here's the thing. The Americans need some assistance down here. So if the... Oh, also, I made some mistakes earlier. The leader and the headquarters... Each of those things is only allowed to apply its, only one or the other is allowed to apply its bonus to any given attack roll. And the bonus can only be applied to one attack roll. So the infantry is allowed to fire both support weapons and its own firepower, but it's not supposed to have that many dice. So I kind of hosed the Russians a little bit there. Probably chewed their tanks up pretty bad. And as I've said, I have decided that Colonel Williamson is going to be assigned to the Bradleys. Did I get that stacked correctly at this time? There we go. So the Bradleys could mount the infantry, and then they would have 3 movement points, so that would allow them to get here, and then on the next turn run down. But the Bradleys could just leave the infantry behind as a blocking force, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get here. So let's see what. Oh no, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get here. Let's see what they could see from there, right? So they could take a shot down here, which is a significant threat. They could take a shot up here, not as important a threat, but they could also come under fire. So I think that what we're going to do with the Bradley here, we're just going to countermand the solo assistant, and so that unit's disrupted. This unit here, this T-72 can fire. So the first thing we're going to do is take a shot with the infantry. They're going to fire their TOW at this reduced platoon of T-72s up here because they really want to get that thing out of the fight. And they will use the headquarter bonus. So that's going to be 5 dice, needing 3s because it's point blank range. And yeah, that does the trick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The tank gets 3 dice, needing 4s. So they and then another die needing 5s. So 3 dice needing 4s. They save 2 of those hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits there. They save 2 of them. A following. So not enough. They wreck this vehicle. Well done. And they got the dragon remaining, and so they'll fire that up at this disrupted platoon of T-80s. That's just a regular shot, 3 needing 4. I gave too many saves to those T-72s, didn't I? That doesn't matter. 3 needing 4, no hits. All right, so the infantry is all done. And the Bradley now with Lieutenant Colonel Wilkinson is going to move here. And now we have to see. That clips the trees. Yeah, no, that unit can't do anything. So 1, 2, 3. If they move there, with being a NATO unit with, oh no, they have ATGMs, so they still are going to lose 2 dice, so they're going to shoot only a single die using their anti-tank guided missiles, which might still be the way to go. That's an effective range shot. If they come out here instead, they will come under fire, which they don't want to do. So I think the best thing that they can do is take this shot right here, try to wipe the BMP out and the infantry, give this tank here some flexibility in what it does on its activation. So here we go. We got a single die needing a 4 to hit, and +1 for the Lieutenant Colonel. So 2 dice needing 4 to hit. A single hit. And so the BMP gets 1 roll at 5, and then it's got Rex and Wood, so it's a total of 3 dice needing 5s to save that single hit. And it saves. It was close, but it saved. So battle fatigue setting in, right? Everybody's struggling just a little bit. All right, so the Americans got lucky that the helicopters didn't do them any damage, but they weren't able to answer too much in kind. And now it's a battlefield event. Last time I forgot to see who gets it. Let's roll it. That's an 8. And the event for an 8 is high rate of fire. One side, your troops intensify their fire, activate 1 friendly formation for a modified impulse. And they can only make direct fire, indirect fire, or onboard artillery strikes. And did the Americans have artillery left? Oh my word. The Americans have all this offboard artillery that they just haven't been calling in. I may have missed it, but I don't think that the solo assistant calls for offboard fire very often. I'm going to post on that later when I get to that. So anyway, let's see which side gets this event. The Warsaw Pact. So that is not good for the Americans, and seems like since they can only fire, what we're doing is the helicopters all over again. Let's go different order here. Let's see if that makes the luck. So 4 dice here, needing 4s for the hind, shooting at the patent. Now there is 3 hits, and so that's bad news for the patent. The patent gets 3 dice needing 5, plus 1 for concealed, plus, so 5 dice needing 5 to try to save 3 hits. Ah, rough. Only 1, so it's already disrupted, so gone goodbye. That may seal NATO's fate. Let's just suppress this headquarters, get it off the map. So that helicopter's ops complete. Now here we go again with 4 dice needing 4s from the remaining hind. And only a single hit. And so again, the Abrams, they're tough, right? They get 4 dice needing 4s plus a die needing 5s. So 4 needing 4s, and they save with aplomb. So that was good news for the Americans. But again, it's not looking good, is it? Let's see what comes next. Now, these fellows have not activated in the longest time, and they don't really have hardly anything left. But what they do have access to is onboard fire. So or offboard is indirect fire, right? So let's see how if they make their rally roll here. The infantry are suppressed, and they will roll. They pass because the headquarters is there, so they rally. Not a whole lot for them to do. I don't believe there are any support weapons left. No, they don't matter. But the question is, what does the solo assistant say to do? And I could well be countermanding these orders if they don't call for artillery. So assault or fire if it's within point-blank range, long-range move or fire, or execute counteractions. So, I'm supposed to possibly shuffle here, right? That number is, let me see what's going on here. So if the die on are 8+, I think I'm supposed to draw another card, right? And see if I have to reshuffle the deck. But I'll do that after I conclude this situation. So low risk move towards, what I think that means is towards an objective, or fire for the units. Yeah, so look, whatever. The Americans need help. They're going to call in. They're going to make a call for fire. So the first thing that they're going to do is get a fire for effect marker here. All right, so they're going to, first thing that they're going to do, now this is risky here, right? Firing at this unit easily could drift and attack and drop friendly fire. And so I think that what probably makes more sense is, first of all, let's put a minefield out here. Right, let's try to slow this unit down because we have 2 remaining air-delivered minefields, and we have smoke. I don't know how smoke would be helpful right now. I think probably not. But so they're going to do this. So let's check for scatter, target on fire, fire for effect. I'm just going to move this out of the way here. I think I'm going to clone this unit, this marker here. So 1 minefield lands there. I now have another minefield adjacent and another minefield adjacent to either one. So got to try to remember that I got to end up with 2, but it doesn't matter. It's just 1 minefield there, right? And So these units here, which could make a run for this objective hex, are now at least a little bit slowed down. Now the question is it worth the risk? These units here are disrupted. This unit hasn't activated yet. I think that it would be just devastating to drop artillery down on... Oh my word. Does the headquarters have... Oh my word. Does the headquarters have line of sight? It does not, does it? It's back from the ridge. Wow. So that that shot cannot happen, can it? Really, kind of no shot can happen. Oh well. Wow, that is rough. So really, what they need to do then is they need to move into a position where they'll be able to take a shot, hopefully get another activation. That's not it. They're going to get shot at if they move up onto the ridge here, but I don't think they have a choice. So that we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they would clear the blind hexes from this obstruction if they made it here. What if they ended up in those woods down there? Yeah, the woods are going to give them the same defensive bonus as the hillside. So is this... They can see where they need to see from there and hope to get another activation. So they're going to try to do something a little bit tricky here. 1, 2, 3. Well, it's whatever. I'm controlling the Soviets, right? 2, 3, 4. I was going to see if I could make an assault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They cannot get close enough to launch an assault, but maybe on the next turn they can. That's ops complete. I am too smart to be fooled into expending my precious fire on that puny M113, but I am. So at this point, they're only going to move a little bit. So they're going to go ahead and mount up the infantry. Ooh, even the act of mounting up the infantry is actually enough to trigger fire. So they're not going to bother mounting up the infantry. They're gonna move these one at a time, but it doesn't matter which one because the and the headquarters, we're going to say that the headquarters is stacked with the infantry for purposes here. No, that doesn't make sense. The headquarters needs to be stacked with the M113 because that gives it the best possible defensive bonus here. So, yeah, this BMP right here is going to take a shot. It is 4 dice, needing only 3s. I just don't think the Americans have much of a choice if they're going to use that headquarters. And so that's 3 hits. So, yeah, they only get 2 saves. 1 needing 6, 1 needing 5. The 1 6 for the armor. I think that armor value for the M113 is 6, right? Yeah, very thin-skinned. It fails that. And now 1 needing 5 for elevation. It fails that. So that's 2 hits. So we are reduced and disrupted. and we have to roll for the American headquarters, and it is suppressed and reduced. And so our hope of the headquarters calling in artillery on a subsequent activation has been dashed. This unit is ops complete. And next, what remains of the Soviet Guards Tank Regiment. Let's bring this reduced headquarters back onto the field. I think there's a single, no, there are 2 units left. Well, so clearly we're going to go to this one here. We're going to do some a command check up north here. It passes, it's in command, and now we're going to do a rally roll. It passes, it is undisrupted. It rallies, and now down here we're going to do a rally roll. And even with the headquarters present, they fail that roll. So the Russians don't really have too much to do here except to take this tank and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're staying out in the open there, but their lives don't matter. The objective is all that matters. Right, boy, when units get reduced, the formation activations take a lot less time, right? And now, that was a thing the Americans were desperately hoping for, that this unit gets to act, because it is highly likely to finish off this unit here. But you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That either of these 2 units can get to the objective in time. I wonder if what the Americans, I'm certain that what the Americans need, well, let's see what the solo assistant tells them to do, but I'm pretty much taking over here. Assault if it's got better firepower than the target, otherwise fire, or low risk move towards, then fire. So the solo assistant is telling the Americans to fire at this unit here. I don't think that makes sense. I think that the Americans need to try to make a run to defend the objective. But first, I think the Americans need to call in smoke. Here we go with how smoke can be helpful. Let's see if we get any. Let's see if we get any scatter here. Fire for effect. So, can this convert immediately to? No. So I'm sorry. The first thing that the Americans are going to do is call in a minefield up here, like we said previously. So that's what we're going to do. They're going to call in one of their minefield markers, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're going to place one there. And then they're going to place one there. Then they're going to place one there. So now they're going to take a shot trying to hit with smoke. Fire for effect. So smoke comes in. Get rid of that fire for effect marker. So smoke is going to come in right there. Right there. And okay, let's lay it out this way. Yeah, that gives them the best possible cover, because there's a unit of T-55s up here, and they could take a shot into this hex here. So you know what? So I know I'm kind of cheating around here. The Americans are going to plop their smoke right there. No, does that? Yeah, see it. It could fire there, but it can't fire there. So there. All right. So that's what the Americans done now. 1, 2, 3, and they still have the option to fire. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. All right, that was an important phone call. Glad I took it. And now the Abrams has moved. The Abrams has thermal imaging, can shoot through smoke. That unit is not in line of sight. This unit is. Would it make more sense for them to target the tank? I don't think so. Or maybe this tank out here in the open. Oh, wait a minute. So this tank gets a shot. I did not notice that. That tank gets a shot as the Americans move in here. So the T-55, 3 dice, needing 6. Not the most powerful shot you'll ever see. It does score a hit. The Abrams has 4 dice, needing 5 to start with. That's a save, so they save that shot. And now they get to fire back. They moved half their movement points. And, wait, 1, 2, no, they moved more than half. They moved 4 because they wanted to come in not on the road. So I believe that means that they're going to lose a single die. Amazing, I can't remember this stuff as I go. Yeah, losing 1 die, but they still get to take a crack. And so they have 2 dice because of the moving fire penalty, plus 2 for the headquarters is 4 dice, needing 5. I'm pretty sure this is effective range rather than point blank range. It is. So 4 dice needing 5s, and there's 1 hit, and the T-72 gets 2 dice needing 6, and it does not save, so it is disrupted. And the Americans are now ops complete, but they're in a better situation now than they were. Let me make sure I remember to reduce some things. We'll get rid of this smoke mission, 1 fewer air-delivered minefield. And let's see who is up next. That is what the Americans were hoping for, but it sort of doesn't matter because the headquarters is suppressed. So the headquarters cannot come in and spot. So we got to do command check so first we'll take the ops complete marker off. All right, so command check. We'll start here. And they're going to do a training morale check, and they pass. They're in command, so they're going to get to heroically try to sacrifice themselves. And this hex here, so if a unit is disrupted, it rolls a 6. It has a penalty, but you roll per hex. I'm not going to mess around with that too much. We're going to just say that the infantry is in command, and I'm just going to make an executive decision, and so the personnel carrier is not in command, but the infantry is and is able to do something. And so some regular units are allowed to make spotter checks, are allowed to act as spotters if they pass a morale check. So I'm not sure if infantry are, but I'm going to start with the morale check and see if they pass. They fail, so it doesn't matter. So then they become marked ops complete for having attempted to act as spotters. So this unit here is just saying balls to the wall, man. And they're assaulting with their single die needing a 5 to hit, and they do score a hit. And the BMP responds with 3 dice needing 5 to hit and scores. So that is a tie. That is a hit each. So that really, well, just any damage done by the Americans works out for them, because these units can't do anything if they don't pass their next rally check. The Americans stay back in their hex that they assaulted from and are marked ops complete, and the assault dead unit is also marked ops complete, but doesn't matter too much. Next, the East German armor. Let's see what's going on with their headquarters. Their headquarters is available. They don't have a lot of stuff left. Let's find out what T-72s remain. Let's say that this unit here is where we're going to place our headquarters. This unit here is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this have 5 or 6? 5, 6. Don't think there's anybody that can op fire at it. Maybe it can do something from that location. This unit here, 1, 2, 3, and now they could potentially be fired upon, but the infantry is ops complete. 3, 4, 5. Is there a bridge that goes across there? There is. So we could do this assault. You know what? We're going to do the assault. So we've got to figure out assault across bridges. Let's find that section in the rules. This is, generally speaking, a very bad idea. Cross bridge or cross river. An assault against an undisrupted enemy unit across a bridge suffers a +1 to the attacker's 2-hit penalty and -1 to their dice, and the enemy gains -1 to hit. So this is a suicide mission, but what good does this do otherwise? So 2 dice needing 4 +1 for the headquarters, -1 for the crossing the bridge, and needing 5s instead. So we have 2 dice needing 5s from the T-72s. They score 0 hits. The infantry, 2 dice needing 4s plus the headquarter, 3 dice needing 4s. Yeah, 2 hits. Reduced and disrupted. And we're going to have to roll for the headquarters here and see what it does in response to the disruption. It does nothing. It hangs in. And that is the end of that formation. Next. Oh, designated formation. Do they want to try that again? No, not at all. There is no question at all that the East Germans are going to activate their infantry formation. And now we have to see where the command range, what that looks like in terms of where we need to deploy or redeploy the headquarters to. If we deploy it here, those units are out of command and those units are out of command. If we deploy it here, that's a little better. If we deploy it here, that's a little better. What if we do here? Nope, they can't help these units. So if they deploy here, the tanks get to operate for sure. Everybody else needs to make a command check. This unit here could potentially go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, it can't. This unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This minefield prevents this unit from getting to this objective on this turn. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to deploy here. We're going to make some command checks. We'll start up. We'll start up here. That's a fail. Those units are out of command. This is a recon unit. It's never out of command. The infantry unit, out of command. this tank that's disrupted, out of command. This unit here, in command. The infantry, out of command. And up here, the artillery, out of command. Bad news for the East Germans. Should have done some different movement. The mortar, in command. So, for whatever good the mortar is going to be. So now we've got some rally rolls. We'll start up here with the transport. Oh, I got to do the morale check. So that would normally be a pass, but because it's disrupted, it has a penalty, so it fails. The same thing is going to happen here for this tank. It also fails, so it does not rally, but this is the important one here. The BMP-2 that is reduced, will it pass with the headquarters assistance? It does not. So there you go again, right? Potentially there's a chance here to make a mad dash down here and maybe do an assault and drive them out. There's not too many of them left. Could win the game, but no, they're too scattered from the previous combat, and they have to kind of wait around. What about this unit? Can it do anything? We'll see. The mortars can fire, but the Soviets do not have thermal imaging, and so they cannot see through smoke. Some scenarios will specifically give headquarters units and I think recon units thermal imaging capability, but this scenario does not specify that, so they can't spot. A disrupted unit can't spot. These units here can't see what they're shooting at, even if they are able to spot for the mortar, so the mortar can't do anything right now. So yeah, the mortar's just gonna. Does the mortar even have range? No, the mortar couldn't have reached anyway. So all of that is for naught. But the mortar can reach this American unit, and this recon unit can spot for it. So the mortar's going to go ahead and roll 2 dice, needing 5s, just because. Why not inflict some damage? Oh no, actually, so can the mortar reach the top of that hill there? Yes, it can, so that's what it's going to fire at. It's going to fire at these units on top of the hill, 2 dice needing 5. 1 hit, so the unit on top of the hill. My understanding is that the elevation bonus applies even though it's to indirect fire, because it doesn't say it doesn't in the rules. So the infantry gets 1 save because of elevation, and they fail the save, and the armored unit gets a save at 6 and a save at 5. 1 at 6, and it saves. So the infantry is disrupted. Mortar did something. It is ops complete. But what we really need here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this tank is going to go ahead and move down here into that hex for future use. And this, that infantry can't move. The recon unit can move. Nobody can shoot at it if it moves. So it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Yeah, it's going to move right there. Shoot at me if you want. I don't care. You got bigger fish to fry. Anybody else that... Oh, I forgot to do a command check for this hex up here. Let's do that. They are in command, and now let's do a rally. And they do not rally. So they continue to do nothing. All right, so this unit, the infantry is out of command. The APC is going to move 1, 2, 3, and I believe that that gives it line of sight to fire with its 1, 2, and it is at minimum range, so it's going to fire. It moved half, so it means it's going to lose 2 dice. Is that right? Yeah, -2 firepower dice, so it's going to take a shot with its lone anti-tank guided missile dice. 1 shot needing 3s to hit. That is a hit. The Abrams get 4 dice needing 4s for their reactive armor, and they save successfully. So that is that. I'm pretty sure that there is nothing left for any of the units in this formation to work on, and so next. The eliminated American unit. Again, the eliminated American unit. The Cobras. Now let's take a look at the Cobras. They both need to, first of all, attempt to reload. That unit fails to reload, so it is out. They both failed to reload. They're both out of missiles. Out. That makes their effectiveness somewhat minimal. There is, oh, I forgot to do a command check for this unit before. It sort of matters. It's in command, so it could have moved, but it's not going to move. And so now these helicopters, in order to do anything helpful, they're going to both have to go to flying mode. Just regular straight-up flying mode, which means that they will be visible to this unit, and so this helicopter is going to be... So what it's going to do, it can fly all over the place. It can move only 12 and still use its cannons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there it's going to get shot at. 3 dice needing 5s. 2 hits. Helicopters have saves. 2 dice needing 5 to save. They fail to save, and so it is... Wow, wipe out infantry. It is... yeah, it's eliminated, right? Because it's only a single-step unit. Budding. All right. Well done. Anti-aircraft unit just sitting there all this time waiting for your moment to shine. And you have shined. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this unit is going to just use its massive flying capacity to show up right here. It's not able to shoot, and I should have changed it to flying mode. So it's not nap of the earth, it's just flying. It's hanging out up there, but it could maybe do something. 1, 2, 3. Any shot it takes at this point. No, it needs to. It's gonna fly right over here and just be there, looking to help out. It's currently flying. It will hover when it activates again. Let's see what happens next. The East German air support. Yeah, very bad news for the Americans. Let's see what happens here. Clearly, they are bombing the target hex. But first we have to see, do they make their run? They're on station. They continue their attack. The Americans don't have anything that can engage them with AAA, so they're just making their attack here against the tanks. 3 dice needing 4s. That's a pretty powerful attack. 3 hits. That's pretty bad news. The Americans, 4 dice needing 5s for their own armor, plus, is there a wreck in this hex? I'm pretty sure there's a wreck in this hex. No, no wreck. So 4 dice needing 5s. And then 1 more die for the city, so 5 dice. No, wait a minute. Am I back in that situation where this is like indirect fire and it's a different save? It might be true. Nope, regular saves here. So the bombing run was well on target. Let's see what the Americans can do to withstand it. And they withstand it. Outstanding. Magnificent valor. Isn't that from a Three Musketeers movie with Leonardo DiCaprio or something? It's kind of a ham-fisted line in that movie. Maybe it's ham-fisted here today too. Who knows? And now we have to see if the ordnance is expended. It is expended. And so even with my keeping air support around thing, it's not available until the turn after, which is turn 13. So we're not going to see that again. Next up is the East German infantry, and so maybe it all comes down to this. No more admin markers. We have to check command. Alright, we have to make command rolls. Here we go. That hex is not in command. Change command status. This infantry unit here is in command. Oh, I forgot to move that unit last time. Well, let's pretend that they went. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, there they went. Because, 1, 2, yeah, right, they could get the job done from there. I don't know. You know what? I do all this cheating stuff. Let's say that since I forgot to move them, they did not move. What do you think? Alright, so command check here. Out of command. Command check here. Out of command. Hang on 1 second. Just got some fantastic news. We bought an RV recently and we're going to be renting it out as well as using it, and we just got our first booking. Oh yeah, super exciting. Because if we don't get enough bookings, that RV won't pay for itself, and that will be a problem. Anyhow, yeah, good for, hey, if you want to rent an RV, we're in Massachusetts, drop me a line. I'll give you the fellow war gamers discount. For real. Okay, so we're still doing command checks, right? We're going to check the mortar. Fails. Out of command. We're going to do this unit here. This hex here. Fail. Out of command. The truck. Oh, the truck is free to act. Can't wait to see what that guy brings to the table. The self-propelled artillery, this one actually matters, is free to act. That matters. And I believe that that is all of the command checking that we need to do. Now what we need to do is we need to do some rallies, and this matters a lot. So here we have, so if I had remembered, that infantry was, oh no, that infantry was out of command last turn. Never mind, he couldn't have done it. If that infantry had managed to put itself here, that would have probably been game over. Because it would have been able to make an assault here, and infantry assaulting tanks just dominate. And okay, but that didn't happen, so here we go. So now this unit here needs to make a rally roll, and if it fails, that's too bad for the East Germans. And that is an 8, which is too high. But what is the headquarters is not reduced, so that succeeds. So yeah, we are going to have some significantly important action here in a couple of minutes, as soon as I finish undisrupting all these units, rallying all these units. So, goodness gracious, so we have a couple of choices here. We have this puny recon unit, which, oh, yeah, that's in command, right? So the Americans just have to sit here and take this, right? So the Warsaw Pact, and again, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, isn't this what we thought was going to happen, right? The Americans were going to be beleaguered and just swarmed by masses of enemy units. And the question would be, could they hold out long enough for their technology to make a difference? I just love this game. All right, so let's go. This little how hilarious is it going to be if this BRDM drives the last Abrams off the battlefield? Goodness gracious. One needing a 5. No hits. And so, yeah, so the Abrams, one needing a 4. No hits. So they just kind of like taunt each other there. But now, so again, the Americans are ops complete, right? They can't fire back, they can't op fire, and that really matters. And so here comes this full strength BMP-1. It's still not the most potent unit in assault, but it's rolling a die, needing a 4. Oh, the Americans should have rolled an extra 2 dice for their headquarters against that recon unit. I'm going to give those. This is the roll for the Americans. Boom, they swatted that recon unit with a single hit, disrupted it, and now the BMP-1, one needing 4. Yeah, it's a hit, and that is bad news for the Americans. They get 3 dice, needing 4 back, so they disrupt the BMP. But what that does is it disrupts the Abrams. And being disrupted, it now needs 6s to hit. And you know what? Let's well, yeah, let's just go. Let's do the T55 here. No, actually, we're going to save the T55. So this is a BMP-2. This is a better unit. So we got a couple of choices here. The BMP can, if I can find it, the BMP, it has the American infantry loaded. Now the BMP could roll right into the hex itself to make an assault with 2 dice needing 5, and the headquarters are present. Let's get the headquarters there. Or it could do what it's going to do, which is you can move half your movement point and unload into an assault into the adjacent hex. And we're going to say that the headquarters are going with the infantry here. And so what we're going to see is we're going to have to look at the, well, so they're not there yet, right? So the infantry, all right, give me a minute here. Sorry, let me fix this all up. Let me get it zoomed in a little better. This could be the definitive moment in this game. And so the infantry is going to unload into an assault. So they get 2 dice needing 5s, and the headquarters gives them 2 more dice needing 5s. But there's also, with assaults, let me just make sure, I believe that the fact that they're attacking armor who are unsupported by infantry in a city gives them, I know it gives them an advantage. I think that it makes their 2-hit number. Assault is way back up here at number 11, right? At rules section 11, am I right? Sorry for all this fiddling around here. No, assault, here we go. Okay, so infantry assault versus vehicles. Undisrupted infantry gain a -1 to their 2-hit number versus enemy vehicles, no matter what. And if it is in a town or city, they get a +1 to the assault firepower. So that's really bad news for the Americans here. So they get 5 dice needing 4s. It's hard to imagine that the Americans hold. Nope, 3 hits, so that's enough. The Americans do get to shoot back with their 3 dice needing 6, and they don't do anything. So the American unit is wrecked. The headquarters is reduced and suppressed. The helicopters are just sitting there. The infantry moves into and occupies the hex along with the headquarters. The thing is the transport is ops complete. Everybody is ops complete. But I think it's time to call it here. Is it even theoretically possible that the Americans could do something? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, so there's not even a potential for an American unit, an American ground unit to capture, to get here and make any desperate attempt at an assault. So there's just that's it. So the Warsaw Pact wins a major victory. I did a lot of mucking around with the scenario rules and the game rules along the way. I made mistakes, but I mucked around. I think that we would have had a much better game than I think it would have been closer if I just left everything alone and handled the American reinforcements more effectively. But brilliant game, fun scenario. In my mind, played out exactly the way Red Storm Rising or the Third World War, and name it. Name a fictional novel about fictional World War III in the 80s, and this is what we thought was going to happen, right? It would be dicey, hit or miss. Would the superior numbers of the Warsaw Pact be able to overcome the American command and control superiority and their improved technology? In this case, they did not, but the commander in the field has a lot to do with that. So this video series is done. I very much appreciate anybody who has watched this. Would love to hear any thoughts that you have about it of any kind whatsoever. I do not take it personally if you criticize me or if you make corrections about mistakes I've made in the rules. I really appreciate hearing that, even though I probably continue to make them. Appreciate the Lock and Load guys for mentioning this video series in their last webcast. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. When I return, I'm going to begin a new project. I'm pretty confident that what I'm going to start is the defense of Frankfurt Plus. And why I call that plus is because, as is my wont, I have added tons of extra units to both sides. I have done it in what I think is a balanced way, points-wise, as far as the battle generator points system is used, but I'm going to use the regular rules the right way. I'm going to do the correct thing with air support and all that. Like, I'm not going to fiddle around with any of that. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day.